Okay, Bob, back here. It's going to be part two of my second graduation of the soundboard. And getting back to the Magic Probe. Unfortunately, the Magic Probe is acting very strangely. I did put new batteries in. It didn't make a difference. The thing is freaking out. It's not acting properly, and this is the first time I've ever had a problem with it. So, I have to continue my work without the Magic Probe. So, we're going to continue here the old-fashioned way, like I used to do before I had the Magic Probe. And once again, I'm pushing the top to see how much force it takes to move it. Still a little tight. And I think I'm going to keep this video short. Put the lights back on here. Mainly because it's just going to be a process of continuing doing the same thing. Working this band around. It's also going to be done with my eyes and intuition, because since I don't have the Magic Probe to sort of help me along the way, I'm just going to have to go by my intuition, which is the way I used to do it before the Magic Probe. I have had the Magic Probe for, I would have to guess and say, 15 to 20 years. It seems to be an old version. It's version number 5, but when I look at the new literature online and videos, what I have and what is in the new videos are totally different, if you will, hardware, okay? They don't look the same. Same company, etc. So, I am a little bit off the track right now because I'm just in disbelief. The Magic Probe has been quite reliable all these years. I did have some magnets out of camera view. I had some magnets sitting over here off to the side, and I read in the literature that magnetic fields can mess up the probe and make it erratic. So I moved the magnets, I checked to make sure I had no other magnets around, and then I put new batteries in the Magic Probe, and it still acted bizarre. So I knew as soon as I put it in here that something wasn't right. So we're going to continue on without it. But I don't want to bore you all. I do want to use my other senses. This is still nice and high in the middle the way I want it. And it's also domed in this direction as well, as it should be. So we're going to continue with 150 sandpaper, and I'm just going to have to do it with intuition, but I'm not going to make you go through all of that by watching me continue to sand and scrape. What you saw in video 1 is what I'm going to be doing after I end this part 2. But one thing I wanted to mention, the way Manuel Velasquez used to do this process is he would take a light bulb, put it inside the guitar, turn off all the lights in the room, and he would look at the spruce. He could only do it with spruce. He would look at the difference in density of the wood as he scraped. And he did the same thing. He used to put a line 2 to 3 inches in, just like I'm doing, and he would scrape, and leaving the center thicker, and he would use his eyes. You can literally see the spruce. It gets more translucent, almost transparent. You can literally see it getting thin. You can see when it's thicker here and thinner here. However, that's how Manuel used to do it. The problem is when you get to a cedar top, you can't see through cedar, but you can see sort of through spruce. So it doesn't work with cedar. So I already know that this is 3.4, and I know that I'm thinning it down. And I'm going to use my eyes to look at the side. Right now we're well above 2 millimeters. It looks like it's maybe just under 3. And I'm going to keep sanding at this. I will use 150, just like you saw me before, and scraper blades. And when I'm happy with the overall deal, I will take a bigger sanding block, this guy. I'll take a new piece of 150 grit paper, and I will start to sand just a little bit to blend what I did locally with this little guy. Now I'm going to widen it a little bit and blend it into the middle, if you will. And that'll be with 150. Not too much, just a little bit with this, okay? Then I will switch to 220. This is 150 in here. I'll do the same thing with 220. I'll do the band and bring it into the middle. I'll use the little sander. And then I will take a full sheet with the bigger block, 220, okay? And I will sand the entire top, okay? Now I'm not taking off a ton of material. Once I get to 220, you're hardly taking anything off. What you're really doing is removing the scratches from the 150. After I do 220, I will go to 320. Only difference is I don't have a piece here. Here it is. So I will go to 320, and I'll do it by hand. Here's my really fine papers. And I have to look, see what I got? Here's 320 right here. So what I'll do is I'll abandon the blocks, the sanding blocks, and I will put on a glove for grip, one of these guys. That gives me the rubber grip, and I will sand the whole top lightly with 320, okay? Now, after I get it all sanded to 320, including the rosette, I will not round over the edge of the sound hole, because don't forget the fingerboard has to be glued on, and I don't want to round that edge when I glue on the fingerboard. I'll round this over quite a long time from now. And I don't just do it with sandpaper. I will use a X-Acto knife and literally carve it carefully. I'll carve around the sound hole to round it over, and then I'll sand. After the 320, I will place the bridge exactly where it goes, and I will put a few light pieces of tape, okay, and I'll stick it on my shirt to get most of the glue off. and then I'll I'll tape around the bridge so I know where the bridge is. I'll put a few pieces of tape around it. Actually, now that I'm remembering, I don't use this at all. I will use a 1/4 inch masking tape right here. And I'll go all the way around the bridge, but I will stick it on my shirt first to get most of the glue off. And I'll lightly place this tape all the way around the bridge. I'll put a couple of little tabs on the end. I'll bend over the end so I have a place to pull when I pull off the tape. I don't have to get my fingernail under there. And eventually I will put, right where the bridge is, I'll put blue masking tape about 1/16 of an inch from the inside edge of my taped off area. So imagine this would be where the bridge was. The tape would go inside of that, and essentially I am keeping the shellac from going where the bridge is going to go. And I do the same thing with a dummy fingerboard I have up here. I'll put it in place, I'll tape off the edges, and then I'll mask off a couple of pieces of blue tape. Just as an example, happen to have some right here, sort of. You know, I'd have a piece of blue tape there and a piece of blue tape over here, and they would be inside, just inside of the actual fingerboard line. So the shellac is going to end up going slightly under the fingerboard, and I will do the same thing when I French polish before I glue on the top, before I glue on the bridge, before I glue on the fingerboard. After the bindings and purflings are all in, I will do a final sanding to the top, 220 and 320, and I will start French polishing with the bridge masked off and with the fingerboard masked off. I will do several coats of French polishing to the top. And I'm not talking about wiping on shellac, I'm talking about French polishing, okay? Building up the finish on the top only before I glue on the fingerboard, okay? After several sessions of French polish, and I'm happy basically with what I've built up, then I will complete the fingerboard, glue it in place, and I've already done quite a lot of French polishing, so it's easier to polish it before the fingerboard is on, before the bridge is on. I think you can understand that. And you'll see some of that in upcoming videos. But anyway, just to wrap it up, the magic probe has failed me, but thankfully I have experience and intuition, and I still have one really good eye and one sort of seeing about maybe 40%, I'd say. So it's seeing, it's just not seeing great. So anyway, that's going to be it. I think you get the process now, and keep in mind, these scrapers are only to scrape off the peach fuzz from sanding. I don't want to start taking off big shavings, okay? And I didn't push that hard. I just pushed hard enough to get the peach fuzz off. And nor are they sharp enough to really scrape well. I'd have to really work them on the stones first, and so on, okay? Sometimes when I use the burnisher, I'll put a little drop of oil on here before I burnish. And I neglected to put that on my sharpening video of the scrapers, but that's going to wrap it up, I think. You get the basic idea. This is all in preparation before I route and put the purflings and the bindings in the top. This second graduation and wiping on the shellac, and you're going to see that, it's all preparation just for routing the bindings. I want to make sure I protect the top when I'm routing and everything. And also tape. When you put tape on the top and you peel it off, you're literally going to pull out grains of spruce. And that's going to make you miserable because you're going to have to sand deeper to get those little problems out. So it's a really good idea to wipe several coats of shellac on the top. You're going to sand it all off when you do the third graduation. It's really there to protect the top while you're binding and purfling the top. Okay? I think that's it for right now. Let's cut it short. And I apologize for the magic probe not working properly. That definitely screwed up my mind because it was a rather important part of the second graduation. And I'm not going to buy another one because I'm pretty much done with guitar making. So there's no need to buy a new one or even have that one fixed. I can't even find the company on the internet right now. The company is called Magic Tech, and I think they sold out to somebody else, and I can't find it. It's like they left Dodge. So in any case, I'm going to continue the way I used to do it, with my eyes and my intuition, and pushing to see how much resistance this top gives me. Okay? Because when you loosen this up, it will definitely move more. All right. Bob out, and today is Friday. Hope you all have a great weekend and have some fun. Okay, bye-bye.